أجي أخذك.
That was the voice of 6-year-old Palestinian girl Hind Rajab. She was on the phone with Palestinian paramedics begging them to rescue her after Israelis attacked a vehicle that members of her family were traveling in. They were trying to flee northern Gaza. And when she was speaking in that call that you heard, she was surrounded by her dead family members, trapped in the car with dead family members. Later, the Israelis killed her too, after pretending like they would allow paramedics to get to her to save her. Oh yeah, they killed the paramedics too. Yeah, we've talked about this at length on the show. Now, for the first time, the Israeli government has admitted that their military shot and killed Hind Rajab. Hundreds of bullets aimed at a 6-year-old girl who lost her life. They knew that there was a 6-year-old girl trapped in that car. They knew that the vehicle approaching her vehicle were emergency workers seeking to rescue her. And they killed the emergency workers and slaughtered the 6-year-old girl because they're savages. They are the terrorists. They are the savages. You want to talk about a war between barbarism and civilization? Do you think slaughtering a 6-year-old girl is indicative of civilization? Netanyahu, you giant piece of terrorist crap. But anyway, let me continue with this new and improved Israel, I guess, since they're finally owning up to the fact that they slaughtered this 6-year-old girl. There's a caveat. They're not taking full ownership. In fact, they're blaming the rescue workers who were trying to save her. The very rescue workers that they killed. By the way, for those who think that what's going down in Gaza is a pretendicide, how do you make excuses for the Israeli military slaughtering a 6-year-old girl? They knew it was a 6-year-old girl. They knew the vehicle approaching her were emergency workers seeking to rescue her, and they slaughtered the emergency workers and the 6-year-old girl. How do you provide cover for that? I'm just curious. The Israeli military is opening a criminal investigation into the slaughter of Hind Rajab. The Israeli Defense Forces had previously denied involvement in the January 2024 killing. What laughable. Saying months later that a preliminary investigation found its forces were not present near the vehicle or within firing range of the vehicle. You want to know why they said that? Because if an Israeli's mouth is moving, they're lying. It was obvious that they were lying. You want to know why it was obvious? Because everything was recorded in these emergency calls with that little 6-year-old girl's voice now seared into my mind and into the minds of any empathetic, warm-blooded human being. Much like everything else the IDF says, again, lie. They originally lied. Now, in a statement, the IDF said that the findings of the examination indicate the IDF troops fired at a vehicle that was approaching them. Fired at a vehicle that was approaching them. The vehicle, I don't know if they're talking about the vehicle that Hind Rajab's family was in. The one that was fleeing northern Gaza so they didn't get killed, but they got killed anyway. Is that the vehicle that was so terrifying that the IDF needed to kill everyone in it? Following review of the findings, and due to apparent failures in the coordination of the movement of the Palestinian Red Crescent ambulance, it has been decided to initiate a criminal investigation of the incident by the Military Police Criminal Investigation Division. Okay, they are full of crap. They are disgusting liars. So if you watch the film The Voice of Hind Rajab, which is difficult to watch. I just watched it recently. I knew of its existence and I couldn't get myself to watch it because even reporting on the story brings me to tears and I didn't want to put myself through that. But I finally watched it, and the painstaking efforts the Palestinian Red Crescent made to ensure that they had appropriate coordination with the IDF is mind-boggling. In fact, there was an internal fight as this was all playing out because the little girl was in danger and she was desperate to get saved. She was also afraid of the dark, something that I learned through the film. And as it was getting dark outside, her pleas for help were becoming more and more desperate. So you have the individual in the Palestinian Red Crescent working hard to ensure that their coordination is like just bulletproof. It's because if it's not, they know they run the risk of the terrorists, the Israelis, slaughtering everybody, including Hind Rajab. But there were others in the room who wanted to go. We gotta save her, we gotta save her. Anyway, long story short, the IDF knew it was an emergency vehicle. The IDF knew exactly where the emergency vehicle was. And as it got closer to Hind Rajab's vehicle in order to save her, they killed the emergency workers. Okay, pretending to be ignorant, like, oh, we didn't know, it's the Palestinian Red Crescent's fault, because God forbid the Israelis ever take responsibility for anything they ever do. We see you for what you are. We see you. So loathsome and disgusting. It's like the behavior of a freaking toddler. No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. The Palestinian Red Crescent made us shoot, hundreds of bullets at a 6-year-old girl trapped in a car of her dead relatives. Every once in a while, there's like some disgusting Zionist who like shares a clip of me. It's like, oh, Anna's angry. Yeah, I'm angry, bitch. Why aren't you angry? You like the child slaughter? You disgusting heathens, like horrible people. Anyway, so in other words, they just pushed the blame on the emergency workers. But this case is one of 2 high-profile incidents where Israel, honestly, they probably had no choice but to open criminal investigations because the international community isn't letting it go. So I think this is just lip service. I don't think anything will actually come of this. Because honestly, if you ask me, those IDF soldiers should be executed, okay? They should be executed. For killing an innocent 6-year-old girl, they should be executed. Will that happen? No. Will they spend the rest of their lives in prison? No. So your little phony investigation means nothing to me. And here's another reason why I don't expect any accountability. The IDF General Staff's fact-finding and assessment mechanism concluded investigating 150 incidents, which were transferred to the military's top lawyer to decide on opening criminal investigations. Of the 150 inquiries, 5 decisions were published on Wednesday, while the others await a decision from a military. They are greenlighting Israeli terrorism in the West Bank, which had nothing to do with Hamas, had nothing to do with October 7th. They are slaughtering people simply because they're Palestinian, and that includes 6-year-old little girls. Do you guys remember the footage of the little girl who was trying to get water to her family? And she's by herself. She's trying to get water to her family. She's carrying nothing but water, a jug of water. And an IDF sniper shoots her and kills her. Endless footage like that. Sprinkled all throughout the Gaza Strip, which has been totally annihilated by the Israelis through the use of our weapons. And guess what? We are now fighting Israel, that genocidal regime's war. We are fighting their war, destroying the global economy, destroying our cost of living on behalf of a nasty genocidal regime that seeks to expand its empire. That's what they want to do. Oh, but it's a pretendicide. It's a pretendicide. Ugh. Anyway, this is who the Israelis are, and I don't think anyone can save them. This is what they do. This is who they want to be. They think they're they think they're above any criticism. They want to criminalize anyone who calls out their treachery. They want to violate our First Amendment rights if we have the audacity to point to their treachery. But they're treacherous. What do you want me to say? And I will suffer any consequence in order to have the ability to tell Israelis on a daily basis, your government is disgusting. The majority of you, according to public opinion polls, agree with the disgusting things your government and military does, and I want nothing to do with you. The US should abandon you like yesterday. And hopefully at some point that actually happens. Oh boy, that's gonna be an existential threat to Israel. I don't care. I don't care. So.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.